heard it said before that if you believe in angels, you must believe in demons as well, and I'm not so sure if I truly believe that either really exists, and my leanings change from mood to mood. But there are times when I wonder if there is something there watching us, cloaked in the dark, you could say, hating us. When I felt the presence of something that I couldn't see, when instincts overrode logic and I couldn't close my eyes or turn my back to it because I just didn't know. I can say with a certain amount of confidence that everyone has felt this way at some point in their life with varying degrees of intensity and frequency, but that's not what this is about. Not entirely, anyway. I realised when I let myself believe in such things that these occurrences started around 12 years ago, when I spent a week at my aunt and uncle's house. They lived several hours away from my own home, and this was something I had always hated, seeing as their children were the only ones in the family anywhere close to my age. There were plenty of movies and games and other activities to keep a young lad like me occupied during my stay, bookending my experience in a way that nearly erased it from my thoughts altogether. Afterwards, though, it seemed such a small thing to me that I mentioned it to no one. It was late at night at some point in the middle of my stay, and I'd woken quite suddenly in my bed for seemingly no reason at all and couldn't get back to sleep, even after what seemed to be hours of laying in the dark. Defeated, I decided to get up and move around, maybe get a glass of water before trying again. I looked at the clock and noticed that it was very late, early morning in fact. As I walked out into the hallway, I noticed that I didn't feel quite right. A bit sick in my stomach, you could say, and slightly anxious and unsettled. I turned on every light I came across, but maybe that was my only childish fear of the dark getting the best of me. I was only 11 years old at the time. Despite my attempts to reason my dread away, to banish it as I had done the dark, the feeling persisted all the way down my spine and to the kitchen. I needed to calm down if I was to get any further sleep that night. I did feel a bit lonely, knowing that I was the only person awake in the house, and I disliked looking at the empty chairs. So I turned my gaze to the large glass doors instead, the impenetrable pitch of the night blocking the backyard from view. I couldn't see anything out there, but I froze instantly and instinctively. I was being watched. Something was approaching the door. The windows. I couldn't see it, but it could see me clearly. With all the light flooding the kitchen, I was bathed in it, completely exposed, but I couldn't see out. Everything was awful. I wanted to run, but I couldn't make myself move an inch, not even to look away, and these flimsy, hateful walls, a thin pane of glass. What good would any of that do? None. Nowhere was safe, and it was coming. Soon enough I could make out the shape. It was at eye level with me on all fours. I couldn't see it with my eyes, and not physically, but something in me inexplicably knew it was there, and knew what it looked like and how it moved. Closer still, and I could distinguish its features. Thick, matted black fur against the black night, a chain around its throat, and yellow eyes that stared in at me through the glass. Its teeth and maw were dripping with saliva, bloodstains covering its tracks. It was a large dog, and it wasn't at the same time. It stopped just outside the door and glared at me, snarls ripped from its throat. But I couldn't hear any of it. Not really.